This visualization shows the stark financial difference between digital advertising and local relationships. On the left, you are paying $200 for a single pay-per-click click that converts at 2%. On the right, a professional referral costs $0 to acquire and converts at a massive 70%. In the next 5 minutes, we are going to build a formal, trackable plumber referral engine designed to capture those high-converting leads for your restoration company. To build this system alongside me, go ahead and open your company's CRM software in a separate tab right now. You will need admin privileges to make the necessary changes. Shifting from passive word of mouth to this structured system replaces unpredictable luck with a repeatable process for generating restoration jobs. A successful referral program only works if you capture the relationship data at the exact moment the phone rings. If the intake team misses the source, you lose the ability to measure which partners are actually driving your revenue. To track this correctly, you must add these 4 specific custom fields to your job intake form: partner name, date of referral, total job revenue, and referral fee paid. Once you add those fields, create a test lead to verify the setup. Configure your CRM so the intake rep is required to select a referral partner from a drop-down menu before the system allows them to save the new job. A common failure point in this system is waiting until a job is completed to ask where it came from. Capturing the source at the first point of contact is the only way to ensure every partner is accurately credited. Making referral tracking a mandatory step at intake removes human error and ensures you have the hard data needed to manage your partnerships effectively. Now that your CRM can track the incoming jobs, you need to define your compensation structure before you ever approach a local plumber. This matrix shows 3 compensation structures. First, the reciprocal model, trading plumbing leads for water damage leads. Second, the flat fee, typically $100 per closed job. Third, the tiered bonus, $50 for 3 referrals, increasing to $100 thereafter. Whichever model you choose, document the terms in a simple 1-page written agreement. This provides a clear reference point and prevents disputes over how and when payments are triggered. Using a formal document establishes a professional framework for the relationship, treating the referral process as a standard business-to-business alliance. With your tracking and incentives in place, you are ready to recruit. The ideal places to deliver your pitch are local plumbing supply houses or active job sites where crews are already working. When you approach a plumber, do not ask for leads. Instead, focus your pitch on solving the plumber's biggest operational headache: wasted time. Imagine a plumbing tech finding 2 inches of standing water. They cannot perform the repair until extraction happens, making their time immediately unbillable. Here is the exact script you use to address that. When your tech is stuck on an unbillable flooded job, hand the homeowner our card. We take over the extraction and paperwork, and your tech gets back to their next paying job in 15 minutes. This arrangement allows the technician to provide an immediate solution for the homeowner without sacrificing their own company's schedule or billable hours. By focusing on their operational efficiency, you position your restoration services as a tool that helps their plumbing business run more smoothly. The final step of building this pipeline happens after you actually complete a referred job. It is time to fulfill the agreement. To maintain these relationships, you should follow a 7-day payout rule. The referral fee should be delivered within 1 week of the restoration job closing. If you wait 30 or 60 days to send payment, you risk losing that partner to a competitor who handles their fulfillment more reliably. Fast fulfillment proves that you are a reliable partner, making it more likely that the plumber will keep you at the top of their list for the next loss. You now have a CRM system, a formal incentive agreement, and a tested pitch to deploy. Your challenge now is to walk into a plumbing supply house today and recruit your very first partner using this exact framework. Once the pipeline is running, maintain it. Every 90 days, sort your CRM dashboard by total job revenue and reach out to your top 3 referring plumbers to discuss how the partnership is working. Consistent execution of these steps builds a self-sustaining referral network, providing your company with a steady stream of high-converting leads that you own and control.
Okay, let's unpack this. We usually think of calling a water damage company, kind of like calling for a pizza delivery.
Right, you just expect it to be easy.
Exactly. You wake up, there's a flooded basement, you Google a company, and a truck just magically appears with big vacuums to pump it out. We just assume it's this straight, frictionless line from problem to solution.
I mean, that assumption makes total sense on your end, right? You have a crisis, you initiate a transaction, the crisis gets mitigated. But the reality operating underneath that interaction is anything but simple. When you look at the actual economics of the disaster restoration industry, the stakes are just staggering.
Oh, absolutely.
We are talking about an average homeowner's insurance claim for water damage running over $12,000. And for fire and lightning claims, that average shoots way past $77,000 per claim.
Which completely blows up the pizza delivery analogy. I mean, we are looking at a landscape that functions more like a highly complex, honestly cutthroat B2B political ecosystem.
Yeah, it really does.
And that is exactly why we are taking a deep dive into this today. We have an incredible stack of sources for this session, including some really comprehensive industry guides. But more importantly, we have our hands on some highly exclusive first-party data from August 2026.
And that data comes from PushLeads, right?
Yes, exactly. They're an Asheville-based SEO and marketing agency that specializes entirely in the disaster restoration space. So the mission for you, the listener, is that we are going to expose this hidden ecosystem. You instantly enter the moment a pipe bursts in your house.
Because you might think you're just hiring a guy with a shop vac.
Right. But we're going to examine the invisible referral networks that really drive the industry. We'll break down this massive real-time disruption caused by AI search engines and dissect the structural reasons why a contractor's final bill almost never matches the insurance company's initial estimate.
It's a lot to cover, but it is so fascinating.
It really is.
Yeah.
So to understand how a restoration crew actually ends up standing in your flooded living room, we first have to look at why simply buying Google ads is largely a losing game for these businesses.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you would think throwing money at Google is the easiest way to get customers, right?
You would think so, yeah. But the economics of digital advertising in this specific niche are just incredibly hostile. If a restoration company wants to buy a single search click on Google for a high-intent term, like, say, water damage restoration, they are paying anywhere between $50 and $75.
Wait, $50 to $75 just for one single click?
Just for the click, yeah. That does not guarantee a phone call, and it definitely doesn't guarantee a signed contract.
That is wild. And the conversion data on those paid clicks is pretty brutal, right?
Oh, it's terrible. Cold paid leads from search ads only convert into actual paying jobs at a rate of maybe 2 to 5%. You are essentially playing a casino game at that point, burning through thousands of dollars in marketing budget, just hoping a tiny fraction of those clicks actually turn into one of those $12,000 jobs.
Right, but then you look at the data for referrals, and it's a completely different story.
Exactly. Referrals convert at 50 to 70%.
That's a massive jump.
It is, and they only cost between $0 and $50 to acquire.
So that raises a huge question. I mean, why is the conversion rate so wildly different there?
Well, it all comes down to the psychology of a crisis. Think about it. When you are standing in 2 inches of raw sewage, you completely bypass the normal consumer research phase.
Yeah, you're not exactly opening 6 tabs and reading Yelp reviews.
Exactly. You don't have the luxury of comparing brand values. You are in full-blown triage mode. And the ultimate VIP in this triage ecosystem, you know, the absolute kingmaker for these restoration companies, is your local plumber.
I found this dynamic absolutely fascinating in the sources, because the plumber is almost always the first professional on the scene.
Right. The pipe bursts, you panic, you call the plumber.
Yeah, you just want them to stop the geyser.
Yeah.
But the plumber actually loses money on water damage calls. The homeowner expects him to clean it up. So the plumber shuts off the main valve in 10 minutes, but now they are trapped.
They are completely stuck.
Right. The homeowner's staring at them, expecting them to fix the ruined hardwood and the flooded drywall. So that highly paid plumbing technician is now stuck dealing with something completely outside their scope, totally unbillable, instead of driving across town to their next paying service call.
So this is where a smart restoration company inserts themselves as the ultimate friction remover. The plumber simply hands you a card or makes a quick phone call to the restoration crew.
Making the plumber look like a total hero.
Exactly. They look like an absolute hero for facilitating a total solution for you, while simultaneously freeing up their own technician to leave and do actual billable plumbing work. It is a massive operational win for everyone.
And the numbers back that up.
Yeah. One case study we reviewed tracked a restoration company over 18 months, and plumbers accounted for 43% of all their referral-generated revenue.
Now, the sources mentioned the standard reward for this referral is usually a flat fee of like $100 paid within 7 days, or maybe reciprocal lead exchange.
When I read that, my immediate thought was, wait, so if my plumber recommends a water damage guy, is he just doing it for a $100 kickback? Like, is that even legal?
I know it sounds sketchy, but it is entirely legal and standard practice in business-to-business relationships.
Really?
Yeah, the only time referral fees cross into illegal or fraudulent territory is when they involve public adjusters or insurance professionals. But between a plumber and a mitigation crew,
Ah,
completely standard.
okay, that makes sense.
And more importantly, it is rarely about the $100. I mean, for the owner of a plumbing company, $100 does not move the needle on a multi-million-dollar balance sheet. Getting their technician out of your flooded basement and onto a $500 water heater installation is what actually drives the partnership, because efficiency is the real currency there.
Exactly.
Okay, so plumbers clearly handle the immediate, chaotic emergencies, but the data makes it incredibly clear that the real holy grail for restoration companies is not plumbers at all, it's insurance professionals.
Right, the adjusters and property manager?
Yeah, and getting their attention requires a digital presence that the sources describe as this two-faced strategy.
Because you're dealing with two wildly different search intents arriving at the exact same website. You have the homeowner, who is searching reactively and emotionally at 2 in the morning. They just need empathy, speed, and immediate reassurance.
And then you have the insurance adjuster.
Right, and they are searching deliberately. They are sitting in a cubicle or a truck on a Tuesday afternoon, evaluating vendors for their preferred networks. They are typing in highly specific, compliance-driven terms like IICRC certified or Xactimate proficient.
So what does this all mean for the website design? How do you create a homepage that comforts a homeowner standing in 2 inches of sewage while simultaneously impressing a bored insurance adjuster in a cubicle?
Well, the architecture has to thread a very fine needle. If the homepage only utilizes consumer-friendly emergency language, the adjuster assumes the company is not a serious, compliant professional.
But if it's too technical, it scares off the homeowner.
Exactly. If the site leans heavily into technical claims jargon, it alienates and terrifies the homeowner who literally just wants someone to pump the water out.
So it's kind of like a mullet website.
A mullet website.
Yeah, empathy and urgency in the front for the panicked homeowner, and hardcore technical compliance in the back for the bored insurance adjuster.
That is a great way to put it, actually.
Oh.
So the front end leads with 24/7 availability, click-to-call buttons, and customer reviews to serve the immediate crisis. But built deeply into the navigation are robust, highly technical pages outlining service-level agreements, specific insurance billing procedures, and their credentials.
Let's talk about those credentials for a second, because the IICRC certification is basically the table stakes for playing at a high level in this industry. It stands for the Institute of Inspection, Cleaning, and Restoration Certification. But the data shows fewer than 30% of U.S. restoration businesses actually hold a current firm certification.
Which is wild.
It is, and bizarrely, the ones that do have it often just bury the logo in the tiny footer at the bottom of their website.
Which is a devastating missed opportunity. Adjusters are actively scanning for that specific credential to justify putting a contractor on their vendor list. It guarantees a baseline of standardized training for handling hazardous materials like black water or mold. It needs to be front and center.
Right.
And to bridge this gap further, companies utilize what we call bridge content. These are pages titled things like, how to navigate a water damage insurance claim.
Ah, so it serves both audiences.
Exactly. This content soothes the panicked homeowner by explaining the next steps, building immense trust, while proving to the lurking adjuster that the company thoroughly understands the complex claims environment.
But here's where it gets really interesting. You build this perfect dual audience SEO machine. You write the bridge content, you appease the Google algorithm, and you wait for the traffic. That was the absolute gold standard playbook.
Till literally right now.
Right. The exclusive August 2026 data from PushLeads shows that this entire traditional SEO strategy has suddenly hit a massive, terrifying brick wall.
The scale of this disruption really cannot be overstated. We are looking at fresh, fleet-wide data measured across 39 managed local service clients during August 2026. The numbers for traditional optimized written content are effectively collapsing.
It's crazy. Pages that are ranking perfectly at position 1 on Google, holding the top spot for 25 to 53 different high-value keywords, are getting 0 clicks. The searchers just are not clicking the links anymore because their questions are being entirely consumed inside Google's AI overviews at the very top of the search page. I was trying to visualize this, and it's like a town spending years building the greatest, most comprehensive library in the world.
Okay.
And then suddenly, an AI bouncer stands at the front door When patrons ask a question, the bouncer reads all the books in a microsecond, spits out a summary, and refuses to let anyone actually enter the library.
That's exactly what's happening.
And worse, to prove its point, the bouncer hands the patron a random grainy home video instead of a book. Why on earth is an AI prioritizing a video with 6 views over a fully researched article?
Well, what's fascinating here is how the AI is generating those summaries, and specifically what formats it prefers to cite. The AI overviews are actively bypassing deeply researched written content and heavily citing YouTube instead.
Yeah, the data on that was shocking.
Right. In August 2026, across this fleet of 39 clients, 16,432 AI citations went to third-party domains. YouTube alone captured over 6,000 of those citations.
It literally beat Reddit and Facebook combined at a primary citation source.
It did. And the most mind-bending part of this data is that the AI does not care if the video is popular.
Right, it's not looking for viral hits.
Exactly. The data explicitly shows that view count has zero correlation with being cited. The AI is actively prioritizing and citing YouTube videos that have 6 views.
Literally half a dozen views. It makes no sense.
But it does when you think about how large language models parse data in a post-AI internet. Text has become cheap.
Because of all the AI-generated spam.
Exactly. The internet is flooded with AI-generated text, making it harder for the algorithm to determine true authority. So AI search engines are desperate for unique multimodal signals to verify real human expertise.
So a video is harder to fake.
Much harder. When an LLM processes a video, it is parsing the auto-generated closed captions. If it finds a dense concentration of highly specific entity keywords, terms like hydroxyl generator or category 3 water extraction, spoken by a human being in a verifiable real-world environment, it weighs that multimodal signal much heavier than text.
So the AI doesn't care about human view counts at all?
Not at all. It cares about the density of authoritative tokens in the transcript.
So if you want to survive in this August 2026 search landscape, writing a great blog post about flood mitigation is basically useless now.
Essentially, yes. You have to pivot entirely to long-form video. The data noted the median length of these cited videos is about 13 minutes.
13 minutes.
Yeah, which means the AI is specifically hunting for deep, comprehensive, topical coverage that just can't be faked by a quick text generator.
Okay, so with AI swallowing all the organic search clicks, restoration companies are being forced to rely even more heavily on direct insurance partnerships to survive, right?
They have to. If the Google spigot dries up, you need leads dispatched directly from the insurance carriers.
Which introduces us to third-party administrators, or TPAs, and preferred vendor programs. This is like the ultimate closed-loop B2B network. These programs deliver direct job dispatches right to the contractor's phone.
Right. There's zero marketing costs per lead.
Exactly. You aren't playing the Google Ads casino for $75 a click. The insurance carrier just sends you the job. But the barrier to entry is intense. To get in, you have to agree to 24/7 response times, 2 to 4 hour service level agreements, mandatory background checks, and incredibly strict pricing agreements.
And those pricing agreements are the real catch. By joining a preferred vendor program, contractors are essentially agreeing to do the work for 15 to 20% below their normal retail rates.
See, I'm struggling with the math on this one. So you have to learn all these rules, take on 24/7 SLAs, completely surrender your pricing power, and take a 20% pay cut just to get the job.
Yeah.
Is a steady stream of lower-paying work actually better for a business than holding out for full retail price?
It is entirely about the survival mechanics of predictable cash flow. Yes, a 20% reduction in margin is painful, but the alternative is the terrifying volatility of the open market.
Right, the feast or famine roller coaster.
Exactly. Preferred vendor programs offer stabilization. It costs a tremendous amount of money just to keep an emergency response fleet fully staffed and ready to roll at 3 in the morning. Having a guaranteed zero acquisition cost baseline of dispatch volume allows a company to confidently meet payroll.
That makes sense.
But to even submit an application for this predictable volume, you have to bypass a massive software gatekeeper.
Right, Xactimate. The sources state that over 85% of all property insurance claims in the U.S. are estimated using this exact software. If your restoration company is not absolutely fluent in Xactimate, you're completely invisible to these major networks.
Fluency is non-negotiable. It is an incredibly granular, database-driven, pricing matrix. It dictates the exact cost of a square foot of drywall down to the penny based on your zip code.
Wow.
Adjusters use it, and if a contractor wants to play in this ecosystem, they must use it too, submitting their estimates in the exact same line item format.
Okay, so let's play this out. The contractor learns Xactimate.
Yeah.
They get onto the preferred vendor list. They stabilize their cash flow, and they get dispatched to your house after a kitchen fire.
Okay.
The insurance adjuster has already been there and cut an initial estimate for $15,000. The contractor does their assessment using the exact same Xactimate software and says, actually, this is going to cost $25,000.
Yep, happens all the time.
Why do these two professionals, using the exact same software database, have a massive $10,000 gap in their numbers?
This is the single most common point of friction in the entire property claims industry. And it is crucial to understand that it is rarely malicious.
It's not.
No, it is a structural gap caused by the vastly different daily realities of the two professions. Consider the adjuster's workload. An insurance adjuster is typically juggling 80 to 150 active claims at any given time.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. When they visit your property, they are exhausted. They spend maybe 30 to 90 minutes on site, and they are strictly constrained by supervisory rules. They write an estimate based only on the damage that is physically visible during that brief window.
And as anyone who follows this industry knows, visible damage is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, water and fire don't exactly respect surface boundaries.
Exactly. But the friction comes from the fact that adjusters are actively penalized by their supervisors for over-reserving funds. If they write an estimate for subfloor rot they haven't physically laid eyes on yet, they get in trouble.
So they're basically forced to write a conservative surface-level estimate.
Precisely. The contractor, however, is tasked with the actual demolition. Contractors find hidden damage on 65 to 75% of all restoration projects.
That's a huge percentage.
Once they pull up the ruined hardwood, they find the saturated subfloor. Once they remove the drywall, they find the compromised insulation. The data explicitly states that hidden damage accounts for 30 to 40% of the final costs on a water claim.
Which is a massive blind spot for that initial $15,000 estimate. So how does the industry resolve a 40% blind spot?
Through a mechanism called the supplemental claim. This is a formal, heavily documented request for additional funds submitted by the contractor once the demolition reveals the true expanded scope of the damage.
And these happen pretty often, right?
Oh, all the time. Supplements happen on 40 to 60% of all property damage projects.
But if I'm advocating for the listener here, the homeowner, if I'm standing in my ruined kitchen, totally displaced, and these two professionals are $10,000 apart, my immediate thought is that either the contractor is padding the bill or the insurance company is scamming me. Like, who am I supposed to trust?
That is a completely rational psychological response from a homeowner under extreme stress. But the system is designed to work in parallel phases. The original estimate is just an educated guess to release initial funds. The supplement is the reality check once demolition starts.
And that gap isn't just about hidden water. The sources detail a few other major battlegrounds, like building code upgrades.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
If a contractor has to rebuild a wall, the local municipality might suddenly require the installation of updated arc fault electrical breakers or hardwired smoke detectors to meet the 2026 building code. The insurance estimate didn't include that, but legally, the contractor cannot pull a permit without doing it.
And the data shows code upgrades can add 8 to 12% to project costs instantly. Then you have matching issues, which account for a staggering 25% of all supplements.
What do you mean by matching issues?
Well, if half of your continuous kitchen floor is ruined, the adjuster might only write an estimate to replace that half. But if the manufacturer discontinued that specific wood plank 3 years ago, you can't weave in new planks without it looking absurd.
Oh, right.
So the contractor has to fight for a supplement to replace the entire floor so it matches, which insurance carriers fight tooth and nail.
There are also massive disputes over labor rates. Xactimate's database pricing often lags behind reality. The Bureau of Labor Statistics showed a 5.2% national increase in labor costs recently.
Right, and if the software hasn't updated to reflect local labor shortages in a specific city, the contractor literally cannot hire skilled tradesmen at the suppressed rate the insurance company is dictating.
Not to mention the intense fights over overhead and profit, or O&P.
O&P is a critical flashpoint. It is essentially the general contractor's fee, usually 10% for overhead and 10% for profit, added to the bill to compensate for the complex coordination of multiple different trades like plumbers, electricians, and drywallers.
And insurance companies constantly try to strip O&P out of the estimate, right?
Always. They argue that a job isn't complex enough to warrant a general contractor's fee, while the restoration company argues that managing the chaotic schedule is exactly what they are providing.
To win these highly technical disputes, the contractor has to submit those supplements in the exact Xactimate format, line by agonizing line, backed up by hundreds of demolition photos.
Exactly. So bringing all this complex B2B machinery back down to earth for the listener, if your basement floods, you are stepping onto this battlefield whether you want to or not. But remember, you are the boss.
Right. The insurance policy belongs to you, not the contractor and not the adjuster. If you ever face property damage, keep the work moving. If there is a dispute over a supplement, do not stop the restoration work while you wait for approval, because delay causes secondary damage, like mold. And your insurance might refuse to cover that.
Right, and crucially, do not sign a final release from your insurance company until the work is actually completed. If you sign prematurely, you might waive your legal right to claim any of that hidden damage. Make sure you hire a contractor who is fluent in Xactimate so they can fight the supplemental battles for you.
It is amazing how much the power dynamic shifts in your favor once you understand the actual rules of the game being played behind the drywall. But I want to leave you with a brand new concept to ponder today, building on everything we've covered.
Okay.
We've seen how August 2026 AI overviews are completely upending how we search for these companies. But think about the next step. What happens when insurance carriers start using AI to instantly process, approve, or deny those Xactimate supplemental claims in real time?
Oh,
Soon, the battle over your flooded kitchen won't be between a human adjuster and a human contractor. It will be an AI algorithm fighting another AI algorithm over the cost of your drywall. The next time you assume calling a repair company is as simple as ordering a pizza, just remember the delivery guy is negotiating with a supercomputer before he even knocks on your door.